Today I'm going to give you a whirlwind tour of the United Kingdom in 20 different accents.
You watch Question Time, it's comedy.
Do you want a wee bag with that?
It's hard to beat the Northern.
This is so rude.
At the Golden Globes, I met Jennifer Aniston.
I love you.
I'm the best MC in the country.
No, they're not. They are. I bet you any money they are.
I'm a massive fan of the dictionary.
They're quite important things.
I'm going to match each accent with a famous person, show you a clip of them speaking, and then I'll teach you one pronunciation feature of that accent so that you can identify it more easily. I just want to take a quick moment to thank Lingard for sponsoring this video. Later on, I'm going to show you how you can study English from your own home and get 100% cash back on your English course fees. An important thing to note as we go on this tour is that accents are very fluid. We use umbrella terms like a northern accent or a southern accent, but what we're really doing is grouping a bunch of accents together because they share similar pronunciation features. Indeed, accents don't just change from city to city or from town to town, they can change from person to person. So an approach that many linguistic experts take is to instead talk about there being an accent continuum, where as you move through the country, accents change and evolve and join at the edges. Now, I've picked out 20 British English accents that I want to look at, but as I say, there are many, many more. We're going to start with received pronunciation, or RP as it's also known. It's an accent associated with education and privilege. Now, it doesn't have a set geographical location, but it is associated with London and the southeast of England. But as a result, you can be an RP speaker from anywhere in the UK. It was once the only accent you would hear on the BBC, and even to this day, British English dictionaries use it as their default setting. Now, I've broken it down to 3 separate varieties. Now, let's start with the Queen's English, spoken by, Her Majesty the Queen and other royalty.
You can't look down to read the speech, you have to take the speech up. Because if you did, your neck would break, it would fall off.
An emphasis is put on clarity, with every sound being articulated in its fullest form. No drop T's here, ma'am. There's a tightness in the jaw. The Queen's lips are quite close together and the vowel sounds are articulated at the front of the mouth. One pronunciation feature that we find in the Queen's English is the use of the or sound instead of o. So the Queen says off, not off. Take your filthy shoes off. This is not an accent you'll hear far beyond the walls of Buckingham Palace, but if you're curious to hear more, then you can watch the TV series The Crown. We move on to conservative RP, which is similar to the Queen's English, but perhaps not quite as rigid and formal. Now, it's traditionally been an accent associated with positions of power. So if I think back to all the prime ministers of my time, they all have conservative RP.
Brexit helped farmers in lots of ways. We'll be able to cut bureaucracy, find new markets for UK produce, lamb, beef, dairy produce, cheese overseas.
Now, one feature that divides RP and southern accents from northern English accents is the sound. In RP, you have and whereas in the north of England, it's just So Boris Johnson says cut, but in the north of England, that would be cooked. There's also a more modern version of RP called contemporary RP. Speakers still place a high value on articulating sounds clearly, but there is an acceptance that speed of communication is more important than accuracy. So in contemporary RP, you might drop a T or you might use a contraction, whereas in conservative RP or the Queen's English, that's less likely to happen.
Some people are quite surprised. Like, oh my God, we actually thought you were a robot. Like,
right.
I'm human.
One surprising feature is the use of the H sound. Now, in most British English accents, actually, it's not used, but in RP it is used, and you hear Gemma Chan there saying human, not human, as it might be in other British English accents. You'll notice that her jaw isn't as rigid as the other 2 RP speakers. Her mouth is slightly more open and the vowels are a little bit wider, and she articulates her vowels a little bit further back in the mouth. Other speakers of contemporary RP include Emma Watson, Daniel Radcliffe and Ed Sheeran. Right, let's have a look at the accents of London. Now, as I've already said, you will find received pronunciation in London and the southeast of England. You'll also find Cockney, the traditional working class accent of London. Originally, it was found in the East End of London, but now you will hear it throughout London. And as people have moved out of the city, you'll find it in surrounding counties like Hertfordshire, Essex and Kent.
You watch Question Time, it's comedy.
Were you no clearer when Jeremy Corbyn
No,
explained
I ain't got the
Labour's
clue.
policy?
No one knows what it is. It's like this mad riddle that no one knows what it is, right? So what's happened to that David Cameron who called it on? Let's be fair.
Oh.
I think you're referring to our former Prime Minister.
Yeah, but how comes he can scuttle off? He called all this on.
Yeah.
Yeah?
He has.
Now, there are many interesting features of a Cockney accent. The classic one that probably you know already is the glottal T. So that's when you turn water into water or daughter into daughter. Now, Danny Dyer uses another feature that I find really interesting. He uses the vocalization of the dark L. So with the word called, we're using a dark L, ul, but he vocalizes it so it becomes a called. He also says riddle, right? Not riddle, riddle. To me, it's like almost like a w sound. So tall becomes tall, ball becomes ball. Now you'll also notice that the vowel sounds are articulated with a wider mouth, right? So it's ball, tall, right? It's like that. Okay, so wider vowel sounds. Now, if you want to dive deeper with the Cockney accent, then I suggest you throw Danny Dyer's name into YouTube, check out any clips with him speaking, or you can check out the long-running British soap EastEnders. Next, we're going to look at Multicultural London English, or MLE as it's also known. Personally, I find this the most fascinating, but it doesn't get as much attention as other accents. Now, that could be because it's quite a new accent. It's sort of evolved in the last 30 to 40 years. As the name suggests, this accent reflects modern day multicultural London. It's spoken by London's young multi-ethnic citizens. It draws its influences from Cockney and also from the large immigrant groups in the city like the Caribbean community and the South Asian community. You put all those influences in one beautiful melting pot and you get MLE.
Like, as a rapper and an MC, you always kind of get the side of like, yeah, like I'm the best MC in the country and all of that, like. And then, but a lot of the time you don't like. It is very heavy. Like the duty that I sometimes feel like I carry can feel overwhelming.
The one feature that we heard there from Stormzy is the D sound instead of the. So he says that, not that. Other speakers of MLE include Raheem Sterling, the England football player, and Akala. And if you want to watch a TV series with Multicultural London English, then I recommend Top Boy on Netflix. And of course, if you want to go deeper with this accent, there's a whole section in my book dedicated to Multicultural London English. Let's quickly skip east to the county of Essex, where the accent is quite similar to Cockney due to the large number of people that moved from the East End out to Essex after the war. Now, the two accents share many pronunciation features, including those wide vowel sounds, but Essex speakers tend to close off the ending.
For them to write that about us Essex girls, we are not happy.
No.
So keep us in the dictionary, but please change the meaning. And I think it should say an Essex girl is smart, sassy, fun, and striving hard in life like everyone else.
You can hear Gemma Collins there using that vocalised dark L on girls and also that glottal T on about. If you want to hear any more of the Essex accent, there is only one place to go. The TV series, The Only Way is Essex. Eastleigh Dreamers, I want to take a quick moment to talk about our sponsors, Lingard. 2020 has been a terrible year for everyone. So I want us to start 2021 the best way possible, and Lingard are here to help us. They are an online language learning platform that I've been working with for 3 years. They help English learners develop their real conversational skills and build confidence in their speaking ability. But the best thing about Lingard is they are offering 100% cashback on your course fees if you attend every single class. 100%. That's amazing. In addition, you'll also get free access to an online Cambridge speaking test. So how does it work? Well, the sprint starts on the 15th of January 2021 and you can sign up until December the 28th. So there's the super sprint. This is where you have to attend 30 classes per month for 3 months, and if you can do that, you get 100% cashback on your course fees. Now, if that seems like a bit too much of a commitment for you, you can do the sprint, which is 15 classes per month for 3 months, and you get 50% cashback on your course fees. So if you have lots of time to dedicate to learning English, you can do the super sprint. If you are juggling work or school, then perhaps the sprint is better for you. Now you can do the sprint in English, German, French, Spanish, or business English as well. Now both plans require a €49 deposit, but with my offer code WIN18, you get €10 off that deposit. And if you're able to complete the super sprint or the sprint, then you'll get your deposit back. But don't wait around, guys, because spaces on the sprint are limited, okay? So click the link below, go check it out, see if it's for you, read the terms and conditions, okay? I don't want you to overcommit to something, and make sure this is right for you. Classes are small, the teachers are experts in English, and of course you can study anytime, anywhere, and I love that flexibility. So start 2021 on the right foot, sign up to the Lingard sprint and take your English to the next level. Make sure to hit the link below and use the offer code WIN18. All right, let's get back to the video. Over in the west, we have the beautiful counties of Somerset, Dorset, Devon and Cornwall, all with their own subtly different accents. One famous exponent of the West Country accent is Hagrid from Harry Potter.
The owl that delivered my release papers got all lost and confused. Some ruddy bird called Errol.
One unique feature that you will hear with this accent is that rhotic R. Now, in most British English accents, it's non-rhotic, so we don't use that R, but in the West Country, that R is pronounced, so car and far. This pattern is mirrored in the city of Bristol, where R's are also articulated.
Oh, I'm such an Aquarian, I can never let things go. So we'll talk, and then I'll say, remember when you did this, this, and this, and this, and back in 1985 you did this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is that why you're single now?
Probably.
you just broke up again recently, didn't you?
No, we ran off with another bird, and then, yeah, I got dumped again.
Did you hear how she said bird there? It was bird, bird. I would say bird, so the sound, but she pronounced that R, bird. To hear more of the Bristolian accent, I really recommend checking out Gogglebox, and in particular, Mary and Marina, some fantastic characters. Moving into the middle of the country, we've got Britain's second largest city, Birmingham, where the accent is Brummie. Now, it's known for its nasal quality due to the heavy industry that used to be there, and also its sing-songy intonation.
It's so funny, but the last time I saw you was really in 2002, and you were the first person to interview me.
Coming out of the house.
We couldn't find that clip, but don't worry. I've found an amazing clip of something I'm going to show you a little bit later. Shall I show it you now?
The way Alison Hammond says last there is a great indication that we are moving further north through the country, because these A and R sounds divide the country. So in the south of England, you would have R, it would be last, but in the north of England, it's last. And because Birmingham is in the middle, it actually goes with the northern pronunciation, so it would be last. So in Birmingham, you would hear last, Bath, and chance. Other Brummie speakers include footballer Jack Grealish and comedian Lenny Henry. As we edge further north, we get to the East Midlands cities of Derby, Leicester, and Nottingham. And because of their geographical location, these accents sit somewhere between the Midlands and the north.
Let's just get some young players in here who actually love playing for Arsenal, who actually love the shirt, love the badge, and are actually prepared to die for it almost by going out there and, as you said, Mike, are putting in tackles. I'm like, you know, just showing that they care.
One feature that I found in Jermaine Genesis' accent is the diphthong air. So he says, he kind of elongates it and he sort of widens the mouth a little bit. So it's kind of air. So it's there. Okay, that's a bad impression. Let's get Jermaine to do it again.
And are actually prepared to die for it almost by going out there.
As we move into Yorkshire, we encounter accents that are characterised by the squashing and omitting of certain words and sounds. So, I'm going to the shop would be I'm going to shop. Let's start with South Yorkshire and Louis Tomlinson.
Northerners probably are better than Southerners. Southerners are great people, but it's hard to beat the Northerner.
You've seen Eat, Sleep, Dream English before. You know that I love Louis Tomlinson's accent. It's so rich with different pronunciation features. One that I want to pick out is the way that he uses the on the th, the sound. So instead of northerner, it's northerner. Instead of southerner, it's southerner.
Northerners probably are better than Southerners. Southerners are great people, but it's hard to beat the Northerner.
As we move to West Yorkshire, we've got Zayn Malik from Bradford, and he elongates the diphthong A. So he says stare and wear and pay, rather than stay, weigh and pay.
So he loved like dressing up in suits and like wearing like specific tie done a certain way.
Then if we move to East Yorkshire, we've got Jenny and Lee from Gogglebox.
National Health Service can't get the masks, so how are we going to get them?
I've made one.
What out of?
Hey, it's really clever. And you don't need no sewing, no nothing. It's like, you can make it within a minute.
Right. Oh, you can make me one then.
I'll show you.
So here you can hear the elongation of another diphthong, O. It becomes no and sure. Very typical of a Yorkshire accent. You'll also notice that that sound is articulated at the front of the mouth. So no and go. If you want to dive deeper with a Yorkshire accent, then of course Gogglebox, Jenny and Lee is fantastic. There are also two sisters from Leeds who have a fantastic accent. Of course, Game of Thrones is a fantastic place to hear the Yorkshire accent as well. If we hop over the Pennines, we find two huge cities, Manchester and Liverpool. Now, despite being only 30 miles apart, their accents are very, very different. Mancunian tends to be quite nasal and borrows lots of pronunciation features from other Northern English accents.
You know, it's the first game, and I think the concentration and intensity that we showed today, we have to take forward into the next games also in the Premier League.
Here we hear Marcus Rashford using one of the most typical Mancunian sounds, and that's the I sound on words ending in Y. So he said intensity, intensity, not intensity. So that sound in other words would be like city and pretty. The accent in Liverpool is known as Scouse, owing to a local dish there served to sailors. Now it's an accent that has been heavily influenced by the Irish community that settled in Liverpool in the 19th and 20th century.
That's how I was starstruck. At the Golden Globes, I met Jennifer Aniston.
This feature is uniquely Scouse. It's that fricative k sound. So she says starstruck. Struck is that sound. So in other words, it'd be like bach and buch. Very different from any other British English accent. Moving up to the northeast, we find Geordie in the city of Newcastle and the surrounding area. Now this has numerous pronunciation features that are different from anywhere else.
So we changed it a little mix, and we hated it at first. We were like, oh, it's game over, our career's over, Little Mix, it's the worst name ever. But now we absolutely love it, and we wouldn't ever change it.
One really distinctive feature of this accent is on the words that end in ER and OR. They are pronounced with an A sound, not an sound. So Jade says over and ever, not over and ever. Other Geordie speakers include TV presenters Ant and Dec and Cheryl from X Factor. And of course, you can check out the TV show Geordie Shore. As we move over the border, we encounter numerous Scottish accents. Perhaps the most recognisable accent is the Glasgow accent, a personal favourite of mine. It possesses wildly different vowel sounds to most accents in England, and the R is tapped, meaning that the tip of the tongue hits the alveolar ridge, the roof of the mouth, as you are articulating it. Here's actor James McAvoy with an example.
David Percival has gone feral. I think he represents a breed of operative who kind of gets way too seduced by the environment instead of the job.
Other Glaswegian speakers include legendary football manager Alex Ferguson and comedians Billy Connolly, Kevin Bridges and Frankie Boyle. 50 miles east we find Edinburgh, where it's said that the accent is a little bit softer than the accent of Glasgow.
They literally go and hide, and they stop trying, and they stop competing, and they allow themselves to be shrunk.
A feature that we find here is the common use of the dark L. So Shirley Manson here says allowed, not allowed. So it's a dark L, not a light L on the L of allowed. Another word would be like look. So it's coming from the back of the mouth with the tongue down rather than allow at the front of the mouth. Scooting back down south and across the border to South Wales, we find an accent that is much more sing-songy in nature than other British English accents. It's almost musical in its intonation, and this is in part because of the influence of the Welsh language onto Welsh English.
It wasn't the nicest. It was quite a cheap B&B, and I think I was the only resident. So when I turned up, the guy in like sort of tracksuit bottoms, he was like, right then, you're in room number 1, ground floor.
A feature that can be found in South Wales is the doubling or extension of a consonant sound that comes between two vowel sounds. So Ellis James here says bottom. I think about the word city. Again, terrible impression, I apologise. But as you can hear, it's a kind of doubling of that consonant sound, that T sound, that's very distinctive to the Welsh English accent. Finally, let's hop over the Irish Sea to Northern Ireland and Belfast in particular. Now, this is one of my favourite accents in Britain. It has such character to it. Northern Irish English is heavily influenced by Scottish English, and that's due to the number of Scots that moved over and settled in Northern Ireland. As a result, there are many similarities between the accents. Perhaps the most distinctive feature of Northern Irish English is the diphthong ow, as in how. Let's hear how Jamie Dornan says it.
I once tried to do a whole conversation with these builders who were working at my dad's house by only saying boys a dear to them.
Right, Jamie Dornan said house. So it's a kind of slightly more closed, shorter sound, isn't it? House. So how would be how, and now would be now. It's a very distinctive feature of the Belfast accent. I love it so much. Let's hear Jamie Dornan say another phrase.
Like, how about you? Like, how you doing? Like, how are you, basically?
In the comments below, I'd like you to tell me which of the 20 British English accents you just heard you love the most and why, okay? Put it into the comments below. Also tell me, which one would you like me to do a longer video for? I can deep dive into any of these accents. Which one would be most interesting for you? But thank you so much for watching, guys, and until next time, this is Tom, the Chief Dreamer, saying goodbye.